If Kremlin politics are a theatre, then Sergey Lavrov is the actor who has been abruptly ushered into the wings. For more than 20 years, he's been the granite face of Russian diplomacy, urbane, cynical, unflinchingly loyal to Vladimir Putin. Now, at 76, the veteran foreign minister appears to be drifting into the penumbra of power. His sudden disappearance from public life, absence from the Security Council, and exclusion from the G20 delegation invite one question. Has Lavrov truly fallen, or is he simply being kept out of sight? Is he joining Putin in the Smeg fridge? To answer that, one must recall the strange choreography of Kremlin politics. In the Soviet era, analysts pored over parade footage, noting who stood nearest to the Secretary General, who smiled, who was missing. Today, the ritual continues. At Wednesday's Security Council meeting, when Putin ordered officials to begin preparations for possible nuclear testing, every senior figure was present except Lavrov. The Kremlin insists his absence was coordinated. In Russian bureaucratic language, that word rarely reassures. It suggests consent to marginalization rather than spontaneous decision to be absent. The proximate cause of Lavrov's eclipse appears to be diplomatic failure. His attempt to arrange the Budapest summit between Putin and Donald Trump collapsed after a tense phone call with Marco Rubio, Washington's acting Secretary of State. According to reports, Lavrov restated Russia's maximalist war demands, Ukraine's surrender of occupied land and demilitarization, prompting Trump to abandon the meeting and retaliate with sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies. Within days, Lavrov had vanished from view. Officially, Dmitry Peskov has denied any rift, insisting that Lavrov continues to serve as foreign minister, yet that reassurance feels hollow. Putin has appointed Maxim Oreshkin, a far younger technocrat, to head the Russian delegation to the Johannesburg G20 summit. Lavrov, who once strode across world capitals as Putin's indispensable envoy, will stay at home. It's not the first time Putin has humiliated loyal subordinates through silence. The defense minister Sergey Shoigu was demoted to a symbolic Security Council role after repeated military failures, yet publicly praised as a trusted comrade. The pattern is familiar. The general is not dismissed, only displaced. Putin keeps his court intact but rotates his pawns to obscure where power truly lies. In Lavrov's case, the story is more tragic. He is not merely a career diplomat, but the architect of Putin's international narrative. For 2 decades, he has defended invasions, justified repression, and ridiculed the West with sardonic aplomb. His press conferences have become theatres of contempt. His cigarette-stained rasp, his weary disdain for journalists, his habit of quoting Tchaikovsky or Pushkin before denouncing Anglo-Saxon hypocrisy, his face-off with Liz Truss. To many in Moscow, he was the last professional in a government of sycophants, yet that very professionalism and the fatigue that accompanies it may now be his undoing. Sources quoted by the Financial Times and the Russian telegram channels describe Lavrov as tired and unwilling to engage with the United States, following orders too literally and showing little flexibility. For a regime that prizes obedience but also demands deniability, such traits can be fatal. When diplomacy fails, someone must take the blame, and Putin never accepts responsibility for his own setbacks. Still, it would be premature to declare Lavrov finished. Putin seldom sacks his courtiers outright, he lets them fade. Lavrov's removal from the G20 may be temporary, a test of loyalty, a cooling off period, or an attempt to insulate him from diplomatic fallout. The Foreign Ministry continues to issue statements under his name. His spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, remains fiercely defensive, denouncing Western speculation as hybrid warfare. The more likely truth is that Lavrov has entered what Russian insiders call the political sanatorium, a purgatory for overused loyalists. His influence is diminished, his prestige exhausted, but his value as a symbol endures. For now, he is neither dismissed nor decisive, a relic of Putin's earlier years when Russian diplomacy still masqueraded as strategy rather than brute force. So, is Lavrov out of favour or merely out of sight? The answer may be both. He is not yet defenestrated, but he is no longer central. His dissent reflects the decay of Russia's foreign policy itself, once conducted with cunning and calculation, now reduced to bluster and fatigue. If Lavrov's silence continues, it will signal more than the retirement of a tired minister. It will mark the end of Russian diplomacy as a profession and its final absorption into the machinery of propaganda and war.